right, bienvenido, Mario.
Gracias, compadre.
Por primera vez te tengo aquí en el programa, bro.
Ya tenía ganas de venir para acá contigo,
yeah,
la verdad.
Man.
Desde que la primera vez que miré tu show, dije, a ver cuándo me toca un día que me inviten, voy de volada.
Yeah.
And it's been a while.
Sí.
Ya tengo un rato.
Fíjate, ¿qué tanto tiempo tienes en la música?
Oh, my God, fíjate, desde que tenía como 12 años, fíjate. Ahorita acabo de cumplir 60, tengo 60 años. Desde que tenía 12 años estoy tocando. Mi hermano y yo, like for 15, almost 20 years más o menos. Y luego con mi compadre Ramón, 28 years. Y ahorita con el grupo que tenemos hoy, apenas tenemos like 2 years and a half, 2 años y medio.
Man, so you're about 50, no, about 48 years in,
Más o
almost
menos,
50.
yeah.
12 years old. Man.
Desde que tenía 12 years old.
¿Dónde naciste aquí en los Estados Unidos?
Sí, nosotros, yo nací en California, compadre, allá en Fresno, California.
Órale.
We were raised up in the state of Washington, en Yakima, Washington.
Sí, mucha raza para allá.
Bastante raza de acá de Nuevo León y Tamaulipas y acá de Texas. Y luego a la edad de 17, they brought us back to Nuevo León, allá para los Ramones, Nuevo León, cerquita de Monterrey, de allá son mis papás. And my dad, he was a musician, él tocaba el acordeón, tenía su grupo, Los Ideales del Norte, se llamaba My Dad. Grababa en California con discos fama en aquellos años, con los Tigres del Norte.
Sí.
Entonces, but he had a terrible accident, man, back in 72, y ya no pudo seguir tocando. Y le enseñó a Ramiro, mi hermano, to play the accordion. Y mi hermano sí estaba enseñando y yo no, you know. Entonces me acuerdo que me dijo, my dad, agárrate el bajo sexto tú, digo, para que te enseñes. Y no tenía, pues my dad no sabía tocar el bajo sexto, me enseñé yo solo. Pero me gustaba más la drum. My first instrument was la batería, las drums. Sí. Me enseñó a tocar la batería y me gustaba bastante. Tanto que no sé si te acuerdas de Rubén Villarreal de Los Leones.
Sí.
Él quería llevarnos a my brother en el bass y a mí en la batería.
Órale.
Y my dad se enojó. Dijo, no. Dijo, Ramiro va a tocar el acordeón y tú vas a tocar el bajo sexto y tú vas a cantar. Y así nos quedamos.
And you were what? You were 12?
I was 12 years old.
So we're talking 76, 77.
Más
You were
menos.
born in 64.
I was born in 63.
63.
Yeah, tocábamos ahí en alrededor de Tapenes, Yakima, Guapa, todo eso.
Yeah.
En little festival, en little eventos privados.
Ahí llegaba toda la gente que estaba trabajando.
La gente que iba al
los
Happy.
trabajos, sí.
Al Happy.
A la Vironga.
Exactly.
Man, how was it growing up in that area in the Pacific Northwest?
We loved it, compadre. Allá nos gustaba mucho porque allá es muy diferente que aquí que el Valle, acá Texas o Nuevo León. Allá está bien verde y luego the winters are like awesome. ¿Verdad? We were me acuerdo cuando it would start snowing, andábamos corriendo afuera descalzos en la nieve. Ahora baja a 50 degrees y es muy frío para nosotros aquí. Ya. We're not used to the cold anymore. Pero allá nos gustaba mucho. I had all my schooling over there in Washington. Y luego en 1978, they brought us back to Nuevo León. I left my girlfriend over there.
Were you still in school?
I was still in school.
And what grade were you in when you moved back to Nuevo León?
I was in 5th grade, fíjate,
Fifth grade?
4th or 5th grade, ya ni me acuerdo. When they brought us para acá para Nuevo León, I was like 17 years old, fíjate.
Okay.
And they put us in school allá en Nuevo León, en español, of course, y with first graders, niños chiquitos de, I don't know, 3, 4 years old, y yo ya tenía 17.
Wow.
Y la teacher antes usaba the chalkboard, ¿verdad? Con el chalk, y ponía a big O, an S en la O, decía, y nosotros, we didn't know. Es que
it was a culture shock for you.
Yeah, because fíjate, nosotros no sabíamos no sabíamos escribir, muy apenas hablamos en español with my parents porque ellos nunca hablaron inglés, pero yo no sabía leer ni escribir en español. We didn't know nothing. Hablamos puro inglés.
Well, you had gone through the elementary system in Washington, so you were learning English. You were growing up over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oye, y luego cuando ya nos venimos para acá, we went to school a few years allá en Nuevo León. We learned some Spanish un poquito mejor. Y luego it's hard for a musician para cantar español, to learn a song where you don't know what the words mean. There's a lot of words in español que decía desdenes and all kinds of words que decía, I don't even know what they mean. I couldn't learn the song. Y cuando entré con mi compadre Ramón, el que no me regañaba, sino que me aconsejaba mucho era José Luis, para descanse. Yo al güero lo quería mucho.
Would he correct you? He would
correct me all the time. Yeah. Pero lo bueno que con el güero, he would embarrass me adelante de la gente. After the concert, tocábamos, me sacaba para acá y me decía, Mario, ahí dices así y no es así. I would say ella. Yeah. Y es ella. A bunch of words like that. Nosotros, pochos. Like yo digo, yo me considero, because our English, Entonces, throughout all those years, con mi compadre, 27 years, 28 years, aprendí mucho el español. Ahora sí ya lo sé más correcto, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Pero al principio no, hombre.
Did you graduate in Nuevo León? Were you able to
No,
graduate
fíjate,
from school?
I only went to school there like 3-4 years. Pero it was more school para mí andando con mi compadre Ramón, el español, because they would correct me a lot. Y luego andábamos mucho en México. I remember one year, le recién entrado con mi compadre, we were in Oaxaca. We were doing promociones, nosotros y el grupo La Mafia, Oscar and them. Y estábamos todos en un restaurant, right? Y estábamos hablando todos español, así, porque estábamos en México, en Oaxaca. Y estaba la big screen allá con Looney Tunes. And I said, all right, Looney Tunes. Volteó Oscar y aquellos, hey, bro, digo.
He speaks English.
Digo, we thought you were Mexicano. Only, I'm from California, from Washington State. Y ya empezamos a asociar más.
Wow.
Billy O'Rourke from David Lee Garza también.
El gringo.
El gabacho. Pero it's hard for us cuando sabes el inglés y luego el español at the same time. Está medio cabrón.
It's interesting because down here, I mean, they show, we're bilingual. Aquí en el Valle, we speak English, Spanish, and Valley. We fuse the Mexican word and like cocinar and cookar. You know what I mean? So, but when you went from Washington, what grade were you in when you all came back?
I think I was like in 4th or 5th grade. Fifth grade. Yeah.
And you went to Nuevo León. And you got into school in Nuevo León. And
first grade.
You were like, what's going on here? And you were there for how old? First of all, you had a band already in Washington. Right?
My brother be up at the
So
house.
when you came down over here, were you all still gigging or playing? And
We started up así with unos primos de nosotros. We would play locally ahí en quinceañeras and stuff like that. Allá en Nuevo León, Los Ramones, it's a small town. It's not like Monterrey. So we tocamos poquito por ahí hasta que nos venimos para el Valle.
Okay.
We came over here to the Valle. I can't even remember, like 1980, 81, por ahí. We came to, ya empezamos a tocar más aquí en el Valle. Ahí es donde me conoció mi compadre Ramón, aquí en el Valle.
Wow.
Pero ya allá estuvimos en Nuevo León a few years y sí aprendimos el español a little bit better. Ya, porque sí se batalla. Se batalla cuando no sabes bien el español. I mean, te critican mucho, te hacen burla and stuff. Pero no, uno como quiera. I mean, I'm proud to be able to speak English and Spanish. ¿Entiendes? Como decía el papá de Selena, we have to do better than.
You have to work a little harder.
A little harder.
Yeah.
Y está bien porque he aprendido mucho en español y to sing the songs correctly en español y especialmente el acento. Tengo un sobrino que dice, no me hagas touch.
They call that code switching. When you use English and Spanish words together in a sentence, ponte los red shoes. They call that code switching. And in the 90s, it became popular on radio. And I was one of the ones that kind of like started that movement.
Really? Wow.
And the AP, the Associated Press, sent a journalist down to the Rio Grande Valley to interview me for an article talking about code switching, and it was all over the nation. And I actually asked them, hey man, how can I get a copy of the article? And they actually sent me it's like on a wooden thing, and it's me in the DJ booth back in like 1994, man. So that's when it kind of started moving in, when but it was before that. But they started noticing it when the Tejano industry started becoming mainstream with all these record labels and stuff like that. So 1980. You came back to the Rio Grande Valley, or you moved for the first time. You had never been here in the valley, right?
No, we were allá en Washington y luego acá en Nuevo León for a few years, and then nos vinimos aquí a San Juan, Texas. Aquí estuvimos a few years.
¿Y tus jefitos, tu papá no estaba trabajando allá porque dijiste que he had an accident?
Yeah, he had an accident back in 72 y él quedó deshabilitado. He couldn't play his accordion anymore. Entonces se vinieron de allá de Nuevo León, aquí a Mission. What
exactly happened to your dad, or what was the accident?
They were driving down the highway on their vehicle. Back then, se usaba mucho, remember the station wagons? Y tenían all the instruments.
Brady Bunch station wagons?
The big long station wagons. Oye, iban down the highway. Estábamos bien chiquitos nosotros, pero nos platicaron. Y vino una troca and les pegó por detrás, hit him in the back, and threw him out of the highway. Y entonces echaron maromas y todo eso. And everyone got out except for my dad. And the vehicle was burning. Entonces él se empezó a quemar, especially his right hand. Entonces se golpeó mucho. Entonces he was in the hospital for like a year and a half. Y luego, cuando ya se empezó a recuperar, he still wanted to play. Y ya no podía mover los dedos like he used to. Entonces, I mean, he would still play a little bit ahí around the house, pero ya no salía a trabajar como
Was there any compensation from that? I mean, was there any insurance back then? Like, nowadays it's a huge industry, personal injury.
En aquellos años, I don't think so, en aquellos años. Y luego nosotros, la gente mexicana que no sabes de esas cosas, y luego cualquiera le dicen, no hombre, you don't have a case or whatever. No me acuerdo. The only thing I remember que my dad agarró disability, le hicieron que he count, y le daban su cheque monthly, ¿verdad? Y con eso se estuvo manteniendo
allá en Washington.
Hasta que nos vinimos para acá.
¿Y qué fue que se decidió que dijo, we have to leave Washington?
My grandmother.
Okay.
Mi abuela, my dad's mom, vivía ella en México. Y como ya estaba viejita, entonces every year we would come back and forth. Hasta que un año nos trajeron con engaño, because they didn't tell us that we were coming over here and we were going to stay, ¿verdad? Nos trajeron a todos, and my dad decided, let's stay over here because his mom ya estaba viejita before she would pass away. Entonces I had my girlfriend over there, man. Abby se llama, Abigail.
Yeah.
And back then there was no Facebook, there was no cell phone, no había nada de esas cosas.
Calls,
yeah. Or you would write a letter. Entonces, when they brought us over here,
con chingo de cologne, perfume.
Oye, I thought we were going to go back, and we never did. Ella allá, a los cuantos años, se casó allá, y yo me casé acá en Nuevo León. Y luego, apenas tenía la camanta de casado, y llega una letter, a big envelope, de esos amarillos, manila, y me lo dio alguien. Enfrente se llamaba Norma, mi esposa, who passed away. Y enfrente de ella lo abrí y que voy viendo el picture de Abby con su niña. Se había tenido un grupo, pero se separó del papá de la niña y me mandó a decir que se podía casar conmigo ya. Y mi esposa, que vivía en ese tiempo, me dijo, de recién casado yo, me dijo, oye, ¿por qué te manda eso? Dijo, ¿qué no sabe que estás casado? Le dije, la verdad no sabe. Le dije, ella está allá en Washington.
No hay Facebook, no hay Instagram, nada de esas cosas.
Pero ella, como cualquier mujer, media celosa, pero she was like okay with it. Pero I couldn't mention the name Abby for the rest of my life after that.
Yeah.
Oye, y pasó, y ahora estoy casado con ella, la de Washington, ya.
Really?
Yeah. After we met up again after 25 years, porque mi esposa, que se llamaba Norma, ella se enfermó de cáncer, breast cancer, y sufrió, she batalló mucho con ese cáncer for 8 years, y Diosito la recogió back in 2005, 2005, y luego, pues yo siempre me quedé con la cosa, ¿verdad?, de qué le pasaría a Abby allá en Washington, y luego I found out que no estaba casada anymore, y para acá empecé a buscarla, y luego una de mis hermanas me dijo que sabía dónde estaba, le hablé. Vivía en San Diego, California, en Chula Vista. Fui, la visité. No sabía ella ni quién era Ramón Ayala, because of church, la iglesia apostólica, right?
Yeah.
My mom's church. Y no sabía y me acuerdo que le mandé un CD de Solo una patada.
Solo una patada, what a great song,
yeah. Estaba buena esa canción. Y la escuchó, y luego un día me dijo, I can't believe this is you. Digo, I didn't know that you sang. Entonces a platicar bastante, y ella tenía un trabajo bien grande allá en Chula Vista. Entonces el día que le pedí que se casara conmigo, me dijo que sí, dejó el trabajo, me la traje para el valle.
Wow, man.
Y ahorita ya tiene...
That's an amazing story, man. A love story right
Lo que pasa es que yo siempre, I always thought about her, en esos años, what happened to her. Y no tenía ese closure because we left and she was still my girlfriend. Y nos fuimos, and I always thought I was going to see her again. Y así se acabó. Y luego, when we got married, me la traje para acá, she asked my mom, le dijo, cuando se vinieron de Washington, ¿cuánto tiempo se tardó, mano, para casarse? And my brother rápido decía, don't do it, mom. Don't do it. Don't tell her, mom. Decía mi hermano.
Man, but that's a song in itself right there.
Pero
man.
Fíjate, lo que me siento bien bendecido with my wife es la razón, because cuando yo andaba con mi compadre Ramón, for 28 years, trabajando, we would go all over, y tenía las amiguitas aquí, había muchas mujeres que, cuando me quedé solo, viudo, I could have turned to some chamaca, I don't know, a 20-something-year-old girl, because habían muchas.
Yeah.
Nomás que it wouldn't have been love. Son chamacas que they're starstruck, or this guy's got money, or whatever. It wouldn't have worked out.
Popularity.
Yeah. It wouldn't have worked out. Entonces, yo pensé...
You needed a solid foundation.
Exactly. Someone my age, someone that I know, y que yo sepa.
And they can understand a musician.
Exactly, because it's hard.
It's not easy for a woman.
Yeah. It's not easy for a woman. And at first, it was hard for her, porque no sabía de esto. Y poquito a poco she started singing y todo eso. Entonces ahora she's my right hand, mi mano derecha.
That's amazing.
No doy un paso without her.
What an incredible love story, bro.
And she's también she's like my manager because people call and she's on the phone all the time.
She's the only one you can trust.
The only one I can trust. Exactly.
Yeah. Así estoy yo con mi señora también, bro. Yeah. I mean, she handles a lot of
and
my
that's wonderful,
business.
actually.
And she's the eyes behind my back whenever we're anywhere. You know, with my band, we go to festivals and bike rallies, and I'm busy handling with people, talking with this and doing that. We're doing our thing. Yeah. And my wife, she's the one seeing all the surroundings. Yeah. And then at the end of the night, we're on our way home, and she's reporting to me what she saw. And it's always good to have somebody like that you can trust.
It feels good because it takes a lot of weight off your shoulders. Que you have someone that en todo está.
Yeah.
Entonces yo por eso le agradezco mucho a ella. I had invited her to come here with me, but I think she was watching novelas or something.
Maybe we could do a show one day. You and her and me and my wife.
Yeah,
we'll have
awesome.
A couple show or something.
Una vez nos juntamos Jay Perez and his wife, Roxy, and my wife in San Antonio, and we had a blast.
Yeah.
We had a couple of Dom Perignons. It was cool.
I had your daughter Orphe on the show, and so she's the daughter of your wife.
Norma, yeah. She was my first daughter.
Passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
Oh,
la mayor de las hijas mías it's Orphe, Denise, and then Norma Lee, la más chiquita.
She was on the show and she sang her song Me Trajo La Pista. She's got an awesome personality, man. She's very outgoing. And she was just looking at the TV, making sure
she loves music.
She loves music.
She
loves fashion.
Yeah.
Is she a chip off the old block, bro, or what? I mean,
I think that if she would have been a male, a boy, she'd be out there already with her own band touring and todo eso. It's hard for women, man. Yeah. I tried to help her as much as I could when she started.
Yeah. She started back when she was very young. I remember her at the radio station. She's probably like 17 or 18 or 19.
Before she got married. Her first CD, I con Freddie Records. And tenía muchas ganas, mija. She was. I love the way she sings. Canta bien. Tiene her estilo de cantar.
Yes.
Y me acuerdo una vez andábamos en Corpus Christi y querían que la llevara to the Selena Museum, right? And it was on a Sunday. It was closed, pero afuera, by the bus, ahí andaba Abraham, Selena's dad. Entonces me paré para saludarlo nomás, ¿verdad? Entonces le pregunté del museum, ¿está cerrado? Y dijo, es que my daughters querían verlo y nos abrió, compadre. On that Sunday, y nos llevó para adentro y nos estaba viendo todo eso. Entonces le platiqué de Orphe, de mi hija. Y I had a CD. Y entonces se lo regalé a él. Y me pasó para el estudio y lo puso ahí, one of the first songs. Y le gustó. I noticed, a veces uno conoce, le gustó. Y ya había fallecido Selena, right? Entonces, cuando me preguntó, oye, dijo, ¿y con quién está grabando? Cuando le dije Freddie Records, y lo agachó la cara.
Yeah.
Él y Freddie, yo creo que tenían algún...
Yeah, well, I mean, they go back a long time to the early 60s.
Si no hubiera sido eso, a lo mejor él la hubiera agarrado con su compañía, ¿eh? Porque mi hija, pues, her main, ¿cómo te diré? Su ídolo era Selena, ¿eh?
Yeah.
A mi hija. Mi hija todavía, I mean, en esa...
She wants to start up again, right? She got married, and that kind of sidetracked her dream.
Yeah.
And now she's trying to work
she's
something
been recording.
Up again.
I've been seeing a couple of her, or listening to a couple of recordings and a couple of her videos. Ahí anda mi hija todavía.
Have you ever thought of collaborating with her? A daughter and father
That
duet?
would be cool.
Yeah.
She recorded one of the songs that I recorded with compadre Ramón, una cumbia, a nadie como tú. I heard it with her, and she sang it good. De repente we'll do something.
Una canción del padre a la hija.
That would be awesome.
I mean, that would relate to so many fathers and so many daughters, right?
Lo que pasa con esto que a mí me da a lot of pendiente, compadre, is because I know how it is for women out there, how bad it is for women. Entonces, if she was a guy, I wouldn't be so worried, ¿verdad? But since she's a girl, I get really worried about what might happen to her,
Yeah.
Entonces, pero está en manos de Dios. Si Dios quiere, she'll do something, she'll make it. Y si no, I mean, Dios sabe.
Well, as long as you're open to, guiding her if she has any questions, and her accepting your guidance, of course, sometimes, kids, they don't want to believe what their parents or fathers are telling them, but you've got so much experiences in this industry, the bad and the good, that I think you'd be a perfect person to talk to in case I needed any type of,
Maybe when I get older, que ya me retire de la cantada, maybe I could manage her, you know, que deje yo de cantar.
Well, I mean,
make some money.
Yeah. But to record a song together, I think that would be nice,
cool,
right? Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
You know, it'd be cool. De repente, it could be done. I mean, we have mi compadre Delzar, mi compadre Tony, in the recording studio, and de repente podemos hacer algo bonito, you know.
So, el 80 que se movieron para acá, para el Valle, ¿verdad? Y tuviste grupo aquí. How long did you...
My brother and I, Ramiro and me, nos pusimos los ideales de Nuevo León. My dad was los ideales de Norte, de Nuevo León. And we would play a lot and put us private gigs, you know, all over the Valle.
Bodas, quinceañeras.
Bodas y quinceañeras y
mafiosos, parties de mafiosos.
You remember back in the 90s, in the 87, 88, por ahí, cualquier chamaco de 20 años te hablaba para una pachangona grande. You know, cumpleaños mi compadre le hacía una pachanga on a Monday. Ahí vamos a ir a amanecer allá.
Aquí está el depósito, déjense venir. ¿Y qué tanto para otra hora? Y son las 2 de la mañana.
Cuando andamos las chuchus, ¿te acuerdas?
Sí.
Oye, tocábamos bastante. My brother and me tocábamos mucho. A veces empezamos a tocar como a las 3, 4 de la tarde, toda la noche, toda la madrugada, till like 11 in the morning the next day.
¿Y estaban tocando covers o eran originales?
Puras canciones de Ramón Ayala, de los Bravos. We would play a lot of, I mean, almost all of their songs. Y luego estábamos tocando, compadre, en un lugar aquí en Mission, en una little bar, en una cantinita, y estábamos cantando My Brother and Me. Habían 2, 3 parejas bailando nomás. And there was a guy standing right in front of me. He was standing there the whole time, the whole hour that we were singing. Y estábamos parados así con la boca abierta, just listening to me. Entonces, ya cuando acabamos de tocar, me salió para afuera, para la camioneta, a quitarme las boots, ya no aguantaba, paraba ahí. Y se viene él por enfrente de la van y se presentó conmigo. Me preguntó cómo me llamaba, y ya le dije mi nombre y todo. Y me dijo, oye, dijo, I remember, como si fuera ahorita, he said, ¿tú lo haces con Ramón Ayala? He told me. ¿Cómo? Le dije, digo, tú eres la voz para Ramón Ayala. Le dije, gracias. That's, you know, all Ramon's music, I loved it, especially cuando andaba Eliseo Robles. And then he told me, Ramón Ayala es mi compadre, he said. De veras, le dije, ¿lo conoces? Dice, pues sé quién eres, pero no lo conozco en persona, a Ramón Ayala. Dice, si te invito al rancho de él, dijo, ¿vas conmigo? Le dije, sí voy. Pasó like a month and a half y me habló, ahora es mi compadre Sergio, hermano de mi compadre Tony, Sergio Martínez. Me dijo, ¿vas conmigo para el rancho de Ramón? Le dije, vamos. When we got there, I guess he had told him, traigo un muchacho que canta todas sus canciones. When I got there, Ramón understood Martín. He would call him Martín, not Mario.
En vez de Mario.
And he told him, Martín, dice, a ver, agárrate el bajo. Y agarré un bajo que estaba ahí. And esa vez, I think it was on his birthday, no había ido Toño Coronado when they were singing with him. Me dijo, agárrate el bajo, y ya me lo puse ahí. Y él agarró el acordeón, estaba toda la familia de él, all his sisters y todo. ¿Qué canción te sabes de nosotros? Le dije, todas las canciones tuyas. We started jamming una, otra y otra, like if we had been playing together for a long time, como si estuviéramos tocando, you know, juntos por mucho tiempo. And I remember his sisters, la mayor, Esther, le dijo, manito, digo, no, que ya no te hablabas con Eliseo Robles. Me decía mi compadre, y él nomás se reía. Entonces ahí estuvimos onceando y todo eso bien padre. Y luego pasaron 2 years, compadre. En esos 2 years nos hicimos compadres because of our quinceañeras, his daughters and my daughters. Nos hicimos compadres. Y luego a veces me hablaba para ir a ayudarle a un evento privado que él se echaba el compromiso, que was for free, que no venía their singer, Toño Coronado, vivía en Durango or something like that. Entonces yo iba con él hasta que un año, en 92, like in December of 92, yo vivía en Mission. Y timbraba el teléfono de la casa y my wife, oye, te habla compadre Ramón. Ya, ¿qué pasó, compadre? Oye, compadrito, dijo, ¿puedes venir para acá para el rancho? Le dije, sí, compadre, ¿qué pasó? Mira, dijo, es que Toño Coronado ya nos avisó que ya no quiere trabajar con nosotros. Dijo, queremos saber si tú quieres o puedes trabajar. No, se me fue la sangre por los pies. I was like, oh my God, really, I couldn't believe it. Dijo, vente para acá, dijo, aquí está mi compadre Servando, está Freddy Martínez, Lupe Covarrubias, estamos todos aquí, vente para el rancho. Le dije, ok, está bueno. Entonces ya colgué. I called my brother luego, Ramiro. Le dije, mi compadre just called y esto pasó. Le dije, I don't know what to do. Dijo, ¿estás loco? Dijo, vete, dijo. How about tú y yo? Le dije, tenemos bastantes chambas. Dijo, no, yo me busco a alguien. Dijo, tú vete. Dijo, esa oportunidad no se le da a cualquiera and stuff. Yeah. So me voy para el rancho and we started talking about everything, about work, especially, y luego habían pasado muchas cosas, compadre. Before that, habíamos ido a tocar a lugares. I mean, las cosas Dios las acomoda a como van a ser. We were allá en Nuevo León tocando en una boda on a Saturday night, y cuando se acabó la boda, el dueño de la boda, el papá de la muchacha, me dijo, Mario, quédense a dormir aquí, mañana los quiero llevar a las carreras de caballos de Serrano Cano, al rancho del Tejano. Okay. And my brother no quería. Dice, no, vámonos para la casa, vamos. I said, no, le dije, vamos al rancho de Don Servando, cerca, something good, Mike, come out of it, le digo. Entonces nos quedamos ahí, el otro día fuimos al rancho. Nos subieron a tocar like 4 or 5 songs y yo miré a Servando Cano de aquel lado de la pista de los caballos, sentado allá with toda la gente de él, ¿verdad? We started singing un corrido y yo miré que se levantó y he came walking across over here. Entonces ya tocamos las 4 6 songs, nos bajamos y luego se vino conmigo, se presentó conmigo y yo sabía quién era, se presentó conmigo y me preguntó quién era y todo, le dije de dónde era, de Ramones y todo eso, y dijo, estamos aquí para servirle, me dijo, va para acá, todo, como que le gustó, right? Y así pasaron cositas like that, y cuando me habló mi compadre Ramón que fuera para el rancho, que he was there, they had 2 or 3 other guys que les habían hablado already. A guy from San Luis, uno de Monterrey, no me acuerdo de dónde era el otro, en Servando Cano told me, compadre Ramón, yo quiero el de Mission, which was me.
Yeah.
¿Me entiendes? Entonces,
so they were auditioning people.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You were one of the guys that wanted to audition.
Y cuando dijo, me dijo mi compadre Ramón que le había dicho, no, dijo, yo quiero al muchacho, a Marichalar, dijo, se le quedó my last name.
Yeah.
Dijo, yo quiero al muchacho de Mission, entonces me quedé yo. Y yo me acuerdo de esa vez que me dijo mi compadre Ramón, dijo, compadre, ¿quieres firmar un contrato con nosotros? And I remember. Le dije, no, compadre, le dije, no, ¿para qué? Le dije, vamos a trabajar, le dije, si de aquí a unos meses o un año, si tú miras que no te sirvo, que I'm not making it, que no lo estoy haciendo, si tú me dices, ¿sabes qué, compadre? No lo estás haciendo, yo me voy contento, le dije.
Probationary period, yeah.
Y fui el que más le duró, 28 years.
Fíjate.
Eliseo Robles, 15, Toño Coronel, 5, Tony Sauceda, 2, en Cornelio Los Relambos, 7 years. Entonces, yo pensaba, it's hard to be in una agrupación que a lo mejor ya no te quieren ahí, o tú ya no quieres estar ahí, but you're obligated because you have a contrato. Yeah. Entonces, nunca firmamos contrato. Nos dimos la mano, and we worked a lot, man. In 20, faltaron like 2-3 seconds for 28 years.
Looking back, do you wish you had done some sort of contractual thing?
Not really, compadre, because I feel that
a man's handshake
is way better than any
but in the
contract.
music industry, man, it's really...
Porque yo pensé, I mean, I always thought, if it's meant to be, I'm going to be here as long, hasta que Dios quiera, hasta que ellos me quieran aquí, hasta que el público quiera. Si el público... And all that time, fíjate, we got Grammys.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I mean, I think we were doing good. The last time I worked, because people were saying, no, que you weren't making it anymore, que ya no cantabas bien, y quién sabe qué. El público ya no lo seguía, ya no te querían. La última chama that I did with my compadre Ramon was at the Houston Rodeo. We had 75,400 people. So, I mean, we were doing good.
Yeah, I think... Ramon was probably the biggest during the era where you were singing. I mean, I would imagine, right? Because it really
back in the old
up.
days, compadre, when andaba Eliseo Robles, they had a lot of éxitos, a lot of hits. Back then, se grababan 4 albums al año, and no había piratería, no habían tantos grupos like there is now. ¿Me entiendes? Entonces, when I joined the band, we started recording 1 disco al año, so pegaba una canción o 2 yearly, ¿verdad? And I mean, I've always siempre le he agradecido yo a mi compadre Ramón de se fijó en mí, me dio la oportunidad to work with them, you know, or for them. I learned a lot. There were 3 brothers, compadre Ramón, compadre Fidencio, and José Luis, and it's hard to hacerte uno a los modos de ellos, because they're 3 brothers, ellos tienen su modo de ser. Entonces, there was a lot of things that I wasn't comfortable with or I didn't agree with, but I did them anyway, you know? Entonces, yo me acostumbré al modo de ellos. That's why it always worked out for me, because yo nunca me creí grande. You know, people would come up to me, Mario, una foto, órale, compadre. You know, people would say, you could have been this. Was like, no, whatever. But I was never like that. You know, ¿entiendes? I was, hasta la fecha, yo miro que that's not nice. People don't like that. ¿Me entiendes? It's nice, es bonito que cuando alguien viene y se te arrima, oye, una foto de Mario, whatever. Entonces, a todo dar.
And they become loyal fans for the rest of their lives.
Y lo bonito es que después dicen, hombre, lo miré, me daba vergüenza arrimarme con él, pero me arrimé como quiera, me atendió bien padre, bien bonito. That's nice. Eso es lo bueno.
And they're appreciating your craft and your art, you know, tan agradecidos de ti.
Es que al mismo tiempo nosotros, I feel que I appreciate them more, the fans, because if it wasn't for them, compadre, we would be nobody. You know, it's them that makes us what we are, you know, what we've done. Sí. All those people, hasta el más chiquito, hasta el más grande. Yo cuando miro a alguien grande, la vez pasada, Carlos Santana, ahí en Los Ángeles, lo saludé en el elevator y él me trató muy bien. Carlos Santana, he didn't even know who I was. Yo sabía quién era él. Alguien así de grande, hasta el más chiquito. Cuando me saluda un músico que is very starting out, yo los trato igual. Hasta un bien famoso, hasta el más chiquito, because we're all the same.
Yeah.
Tú sabes que we're all the same.
You come from humble beginnings too, man. I mean,
like I've always said, somos de rancho.
Sí, somos de rancho.
Yeah.
So in '92, you joined Ramon. Were you with him when that episode happened in Mexico when they got raided and were you in jail too?
We were there for like 10 days.
How was that experience for you? I mean, did it scare you?
Yeah, it scared me a lot. It scared me a lot, compadre. It was terrible because you're in a country where there's a lot of corruption and stuff like that. And I was scared that they can do whatever they want over there. I was scared that they were going to tell me, you know, vas 15 años o vas 20 años because you were there and todo eso.
Yeah, 15 son 15 y 20 son 20.
Exactly. Entonces yo pensaba, I don't know if we're going to make it. And yo me hincaba and I would pray. And I would tell compadre Ramon, hey, get on your knees, let's pray para salir de aquí. But I always knew that we somos músicos, we're musicians. We're nothing more than that.
Yeah, hired band, yeah.
And like I would tell, me hacían bastantes preguntas and I would tell them, hey, we're not, when someone calls for a gig, we're not asking them, what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
They te mandan el anticipo, they fly you out and you're out there working. Yeah, but you knew, when you got there, who they were. Yeah, but you can't just run away.
No,
you're afraid that they might shoot you or something might happen, so you have to stay there and work. But that was the way I saw it, compadre. It was really scary because there was a lot of balacera. It was a terrible thing. Te puedo contar every detail and
I can just imagine when I heard that happen to you guys. I was like, man, I'm surprised it hadn't happened before. You know,
it had to happen that way.
Yeah,
I've always said that it tenía que pasar that way because if not, maybe it was going to be worse. Maybe we were going to get killed. Entonces,
so you all were performing when the
balacera started,
and it was the Mexican military going into that, man. So you know,
creo que they told us that the soldiers, they were just driving by there, pero los pistoleros or sicarios that they call them over there, del señor Beltrán Leiva, they got scared or whatever, and they panicked. They started shooting, and so the soldiers started shooting back.
That's when it started, yeah.
And I remember we were playing.
So it could have been avoided, maybe. Right?
I could have been avoided.
Shot, yeah.
We were playing una canción, El Puño de Tierra, actually.
And what time was this? Like at 10 at night, midnight, 2 in the morning?
It was closer to 2 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah. Lo que pasa es que I remember when empezó la balacera, we could hear it, and I heard someone gritaron, no tengan miedo, vienen por el viejo. And I was like, ¿qué viejo? At that moment, I don't know it was. Pues el señor, ¿verdad? Entonces there was a really long hallway, a pasillo, and I remember que nos quitaron los instrumentos, the rock crew guys, y todos se tiraron de panza en el suelo, and it was all wet, estaba lleno de agua, y yo no me quise tirar de panza, pero me puse en las rodillas, on my knees. Entonces and there was like a bar thing, y me puse para acá, but I saw behind me a big window. Dije, a lo mejor por aquí pueden tirar, and it might hit me. So me fui hincado, and there was a door to a bedroom, y me metí para allá para adentro. Bueno, entré, ahí estaba una cama, and there was along another hallway, estaba un closet, a big closet, and a bathroom. I went all the way down to where the bathroom was, pero arriba it was kind of like open. Yo digo, no van a aventar una grenade o algo, so me vine para el closet, and I was in that closet for about 2 hours almost. Estaba la balacera, y luego ya cuando era menos, ya nomás oías un disparo, y oía yo que los muchachos allá decían, somos músicos. Entonces I went back to the bedroom. Entonces entraron, all the windows were already broken. Pero en ese tiempo I heard like a really loud noise, like a wong noise así. Entonces I found out después que they threw a grenade in there y cayó bajo la cama y la exploded en la cama. And when I was standing así en la lista de la puerta, 2 soldiers came in, and one of them with a luz, una lámpara, like a flashlight, y el otro with his machine gun, y me apuntó así straight at me, and cuando lo miré, I went like this to a side, me hizo por un lado, pum, tiró. And I looked así behind me on the wall. Y estaban aquel alto de my chest, the 2 bullets on the wall, and I got really scared. Me quitaron my everything that I had, all my gold y todo eso, me tiraron al suelo. We were there desde las 2, 3 de la mañana hasta las 2, 3 de la tarde. You know,
in the area where it all happened.
Todos tirados ahí.
Yeah.
Terrible thing, man.
And then they picked you all up and took you.
They nos echaron a unos trucks and they took us to Mexico City. Y ahí nos tenían like on the second floor asking us all kinds of questions.
Were you in the same truck with Ramon and
yeah,
the rest
all
of the
of
band?
us.
All the band was together.
In the other truck.
What was the conversation in the truck while you were traveling to Mexico
It might incriminate
City?
me, pero no, lo que pasa es que when we were on that truck on our way to Mexico City, I remember compadre Ramon would tell us, hay que decir esto, you know, I tell him esto, I tell him that, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm not going to lie. Everything they asked me, I'm going to be truthful about everything I know. And he would tell us, tell them that we didn't know we were coming and all kinds of things. And you can't do that because
they catch you with a lie, man.
Exactly.
Forget about it.
When we were there, que nos estaban haciendo bastantes preguntas, you know how that is. They put 2 guys behind you and the one that's sitting way in front of you asking questions. One of them is telling you, no, compa, vas hasta el tronco. Son 20 años. And the other guy on your left is telling you, no te preocupes, todo va a estar bien. They're confusing you, right? The one thing I did notice that they would show me pictures of the guy they would call La Barbie. Mm-hmm. And they would tell me, he was there, right? And I told him, I never saw him. Oh, you know who he is? Yeah, I've seen him on TV. I know he's a narcotraficante and all that. But I didn't see him there. You have to say that he was there, they would tell me. Because all of your compañeros already said that he was there. And I said, well, maybe they saw him, but I never saw him. So I don't know what was happening in this club, but they would tell me, you have to say that he was there.
Echan mentiras para sacar verdades y todos.
Cuando all that happened,
psychological, yeah.
Y cuando pasó all of that, my wife was trying to get in touch with me, que no me dejaban hablar hasta que pude. And entonces she sent 2 de la embajada americana, American Embassy, allá donde estábamos. They wouldn't let lawyers or anyone come in, and they let those 2 agentes in. Entonces me mandaron llamar, ya nos tenían abajo en el sótano, allá para arriba, para la oficina, donde estaba el mero director. Entonces they asked me, do you want the interview in English or in español? They go, no, in English is fine. I mean, that's my first language, right? I want to make sure I understood everything. Entonces el señor se enojó, el director. And they told me everything that they were supposed to let me go after 48 hours, or else they would have to arrest me and all that stuff.
They gave you your rights.
Todo eso. Entonces, ya cuando se fueron ellos, I was getting up to walk out too, and the director, Aguilera or Aguilar, I can't remember his last name. He told me, no, siéntese, señor. Usted quédese aquí, usted no se vaya. So I sat down. Entonces he asked me, ¿por qué les dijo que en inglés la entrevista? Le dije, es que yo sé más inglés que español. I told him. He said, okay.
¿Eran gringos?
No, uno era un moreno, y el otro era parecía like an Arab or something like that. Okay. No eran americanos, but perfect English. And then he said, siéntese, le quiero agradecer una cosa, señor Marichalar me dijo. Le dije, a ver, le quiero agradecer que usted, dijo, no me echó ni una sola mentira. He said, no, le dije, no tengo por qué echarme en la interrogación. He said, usted no me echó ni una sola mentira. They already knew everything about us. They were following, they knew everything. Entonces, dice, no, le dije, no tengo por qué echarle mentiras. Dijo, nomás que dijo, todos los demás, dijo, todos los otros grupos y el grupo del señor Ramón, todos, dijo, puras mentiras, todos, dijo, no, le dije, pues es que tienen miedo, le dije, están asustados, esto nunca nos había pasado, le dije, dijo, es que, dijo, yo no puedo enseñarle esto, dijo, al Ministerio Público, dijo, dígale a su compadre Ramón, dijo, que venga y arregle esto, dijo, porque yo no puedo presentar esto. Le dije, no, le dije, está bueno. Usted se va a ir, he told me like that. Usted se va a ir para su casa, digo, pero ellos se van a quedar. He told me just like that. Entonces ya como they took me where they were at, and estaba mi compadre sentado ahí, y yo me senté acá aparte, pero I was thinking, me lo voy a arrimar a mi compadre, so I went and sat next to him, y le dije, compadre, le dije, ya le hablaste a mi compadre Linda, ya hablaste con alguien. No, I said, ya hablaste con alguien, compadre, to get us out of here. No, dijo, no he hablado con nadie. Le dije, ya hablaste con mi comadre, his wife. Digo, no, dijo, no hablo yo con mi vieja. Y said, compadre, ¿por qué? Le dije, llevan como 8 días que hablo yo con mi esposa. And he tells me, pues voy a hablar tú con mi vieja, ¿no? And that's where I felt like, this is not good. Mm-hmm. This is not good. He's not doing anything. Yeah. Entonces, I told him, compadre, le dije, mira, le dije, me acaba de pasar eso allá arriba con el director. Le dije, me dijo que yo me voy a ir. Le dije, yo me voy a ir, ustedes se van a quedar. No, he told me. No, señor, dijo, o nos vamos todos o nos quedamos todos. And I told him, sí, compadre, pero tú aquí no mandas. he went like this. Se quedó like, you know. I kind of felt bad saying that to him, but I mean, because
it wasn't up to him.
It wasn't up to me. Aparte,
it was beyond your control.
In the music, in the band, working, he would tell us, we're going to do this because I say so, and we would, Pero in that case, yo dije, no, tú aquí no mandas, compadre. Entonces, it was a terrible thing. They let us out like at 2 a.m, descalzos. They just opened a big gate in the back and they let us out.
Con las botas de avestruz.
Todo. Salimos en una camiseta blanca y descalzos, but they kept compadre Ramón, and they kept Lupe Tijerina para descanse, and Charlie de Torrente, Carlitos, los dueños de los grupos. They let us out. Nomás que I thought we were going to fly home, pero nos quitaron todo, los documentos y todo, and we had a ride home on a bus. Entonces, a few days, I don't know, like, they were going to keep compadre for 40 days, they call it 40 días de arraigo over there. Pero como está malito, el azúcar and all that stuff, like 10 days later, he got really sick and they let him out. He came home. And after that, I remember nos juntamos in his house and I told him, compadre, le dije, yo para México no quiero ir. They took all of my stuff, I had like $27,000 of mi esclava and my wedding band y todo. They took everything away, and entonces yo tenía, y luego me hicieron que lo declarara, que me habían quitado los soldados. They put a gun to my head, and the guy, el soldado would tell me, take your ring off, or te voy a volar los sesos, stuff like that. So yo tenía miedo to go back to Mexico.
I would imagine, dude.
No, terrible. The worst thing that I felt when we were there, compadre, and I'll be really, that when we were there for days and days, I would go to sleep. A veces no podía dormir. Eso sí que nunca comí. I would never eat anything. I lost all kinds of weight that time. Pero I would fall asleep after like 3 or 4 or 5 days sin dormir. And ahí una cosa esa de cemento. And I remember one of the times I was dreaming that I was at home with my wife and everything was cool. Y luego when I woke up, I opened my eyes, I saw the celda again. I was like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, we're still here. Terrible feeling, ¿entiendes? Hasta que pasó eso, que they let us out y todo eso.
How long was it after they...
Like close to 10 days.
10 days, okay.
Yeah. Nomás que cuando te tiran ahí abajo, en el último piso, they have a lot of lights, a lot of bright lights. You don't know what time it is or what day it is. And nomás que the guy that was sweeping there, we would ask him, oye,
¿qué son?
¿Qué día es? And stuff like that.
Oye, te daban enchiladas con frijoles y arroz.
No, compadre, no. Fíjate, la comida que nos traían, it was terrible. It was un pan blanco with some really runny egg, really terrible. And I don't like eggs, para empezar. And I wouldn't eat. Y luego, one of the things that I have that I can't go to the bathroom in front of everybody, the way they have it there.
Sí.
And nomás que I was smart about it. When I knew that me aguantaba, and when I knew I had I wanted to use the bathroom, when they would start to bring the plates out, like at noon, I would tell el carcelero, the guy was, oye, compadre, présame. There was a couple of celdas that had bathrooms that they were empty. They had colchones and stuff like that, mattresses and stuff there. I would ask him, hey, ¿me prestas el baño aquí? Pues todos van a comer. Sí, compadre, dice, espérame, ahorita que acabe. Entonces, when they were eating, venía, me ponía el chalequito, he would take me over there y lograba hacer el baño right there. Wow. Because I couldn't use the bathroom in front of everyone.
¿Y el agua? ¿Te daban agua? ¿El agua no nos afectó el estómago, nada de eso?
Sí, nos daban agua y luego...
¿Bottled water o era water?
No, agua de ahí de la llave and stuff like that.
You know, antes no they say don't drink the water over there, man.
Antes no nos enfermamos. Pero after the embassy, the American embassy agents came, after that they started bringing toothbrushes and toothpaste and deodorant and
to look presentable.
Yeah, look better because they weren't doing that. Y luego nos hacían sandwiches like bologna sandwiches or whatever. It was just a little bit better. But it was a terrible thing. And after that, I remember I told me, compadre, yo no quiero ir para Mexico. I mean, not now. Y luego things started getting worse. Los secuestros and all that.
Yeah. So on the 10th day when they got all of you get out at the same time then on the 10th day?
Yeah, everyone except for compadre Ramón, Lupe Tijerina, and Carlitos.
And they kept them. You took a bus home? Or?
Yeah, we nos dimos un bus all the way to Reynosa. Yeah, to Reynosa. And I have a cousin who works for the FBI in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. So I called him, and I didn't have my passport or anything, my license or anything like that. So I called him, and he said, no, primo, dijo, yo hablo para el puente, and I'll fix everything. When we got to Reynosa, nos vinimos para acá, para el puente. And I got there, pues no traía nada. Entonces, when we got there, I gave one of los agentes de ahí, in FAR, I gave him my name, and he told me like this, yeah, we were expecting you, we were waiting for you, he said. Entonces, I didn't even say what happened or who, he just said, we're waiting for you, pásale, and they let me come home.
Did you suffer from any type of post-traumatic stress disorder or anything from the bullets and all that stuff, all the firefighting?
At first,
were you able to sleep after that?
At first, batallaba a little bit to sleep. I remember I would have a little bit of nightmares, a little bit, because of the balacera. That was the worst thing that I felt, la balacera, the shooting, and todo eso. Pero not so much that when we were there, I knew it was the government, pero see, I felt like when I was there, I felt like, oh my God, this is it. We're going to be here for a long time, Y gracias a Dios que no.
You had an amazing career with Ramon. Man, I think some of the biggest hits were recorded with you, Las Casas de Madera. I mean,
we did a lot of them. Solo una patada, del otro lado del portón, con Freddie Records, con Freddie Records for a long time, yeah.
And then you decided to get out. What year was that?
In 2020, compadre, in March, we the last gig that I did with compadre Ramon was in Houston at the Houston Rodeo.
Was this pre-COVID?
Right before.
Okay.
As much that concert, they were going to cancel it because of the COVID.
Okay.
And we were able to because ya estaba lleno, and so we did play. And I remember I was packed, and my wife was in the hotel room waiting for me because after that we were going to, I think it was a Saturday, we were not going to work on Sunday. So her and I were going to drive to Atlanta to go see her parents. Entonces, me acuerdo que acabamos de tocar, me fui para el hotel, and her and I, we took off to Atlanta. And the following week, we were going to start on Thursday in Dallas. On Thursday, we were going to fly to Minneapolis on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Frank Zúñiga from
promoter de Chicago.
He
worked with Freddie Records, didn't he?
He worked a lot with mi papá Ramon, like a road manager. And I remember I was in Atlanta, so I flew to Dallas, compadre. I was already there cuando me habla Frank. Mario dijo, where are you? Le dije, aquí estoy, en Dallas. Digo, no, it's canceled, Mario. Digo, it's canceled. Digo, we're not going to work for like 2 weeks. Okay, bueno, I'll go back to Atlanta and stay over there with my in-laws for a while. Entonces, esa misma tarde I was able to get a flight back. So I go to Atlanta, ya estaba for like another week. Entonces, when I came home, they told me, compadre Ramon told me, compadre, no vamos a trabajar como hasta por un año. He said, hasta el año que entra, he said, el verano. And I said, a whole year. Ni modo. Resultó que it was 2 years without working, compadre.
Because of COVID.
Yeah. Our job was always to juntar a lot of people, and that's what they didn't want.
How did you sustain yourself during that time?
De tantos años de trabajar, you alzas dinero, and because I mean the only thing we know how to do is go play, go sing.
Sí,
entonces,
pero como quiera el dinero saliendo y nada entrando.
I mean, you have mortgage, you have car payments, and things like that, y nos aguantamos.
Y vives a un nivel de lo que estás ganando.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fíjate, my wife, she's always been really smart about that. Sabe cuidar.
Qué bueno.
Sabe cuidar, no malgasta, and she's always helped me out a lot because she says, honey, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Entonces, and I'm the kind that, I'm making, I don't know, $2,000-$3,000 a night. I can spend all this money, but
yeah.
And when I got married, she said, no more. You're under new management.
Buck stops here.
Yeah. You're under new management. He said, no more spending money.
Yeah.
Y qué bueno, because we were able to aguantar those 2 years without working. Lo que pasa es que before that, something bad happened where hubo que le dijera a mi compadre Ramon about digital royalties, compadre.
Mm-hmm.
Entonces, they signed him up to que le pagaron unas regalías, stuff like that que he didn't know about.
I know, man. When you think of digital royalties, it's nothing like the royalties that you'd get from BMI ASCAP for radio airplay, CD
being a writer.
sales. Yeah, being a writer.
Writing your own songs. So, yeah.
The internet has been really hard on songwriters, I think, right? And but it's starting to catch up a little bit. So the digital royalties were mentioned to Ramon, 2015, something like that?
Más o menos,
okay.
15, 16 para allá. So lo registraron, and when he was sending la registración.
¿Lo registraron? ¿Quién lo registró?
A guy from California,
okay.
the other manager, Manuel Palomino, I don't know if you know him from Trae la Banda Machos and a bunch of people from over there. Mm-hmm. Nomás que he told us cuando lo estaba registrando, he told him, oiga, Ramon, nomás que you have to include a los Bravos, a Fidencio, a José Luis y a Mario. Mm-hmm. And he said that he told him, no, a ellos no les digas nada, yo me arreglo con ellos. Está bueno. He said, está bueno. So hizo eso, and they sent him a ton of money. And I guess when the money got there, he said, or maybe his someone from his family told him, "You're Ramon. You don't need to give them anything."
Yeah.
So that's what he did.
So did he sell like his music or to the digital? How did that work? Or he was getting all the money from all the digital sales that had happened?
Yeah. What I found out how that works is they monitor all the airplay and
the streaming
and all that stuff. Entonces va acumulando, se va amontonando, and entonces they pay. When you're a featured artist, because compadre would say, "No, the band is mine. Everything is mine." Yeah, everything is yours, but you don't do this all by yourself. You didn't do this all by yourself. And in the registration, he put in each song he put 100% all the way down, and like in 2,000 songs or I don't know.
Era DAR, Directo Ramon.
Directo Ramon.
No, Directo Registro.
That was good. Y decía 100%. Entonces they sent him an email, and they asked him, "Mr. Ayala, so you're saying that you did everything in your recordings? You did all the singing and all the instruments?" He didn't answer anymore. Entonces someone from his office called me and they told me, "Mario, es que you're nothing there. You're nothing. Ramon, he's a solo act." Le dije, "Mira, para empezar, mi compadre Ramon, he's the opposite of a solo act." Le dije, "You know who was a solo act? Vicente Fernandez, he was era solista. Joan Sebastian, he was a solista. Juan Gabriel, I can mention a lot of them. Because how many times had you seen que Vicente Fernandez ocupara un cantante?" Yeah. O Joan Sebastian ocupara un cantante. Mi compadre Ramon has always ocupado un cantante. El músico, so he's no es solista. Le dije, I'm sorry, pero no es solista. Entonces, ya dejó de estar diciendo eso. Entonces, when compadre Fidencio and José Luis, someone told them about that. Entonces, they told him que lo registraban a ellos dos so they can open up their claim, whatever they wanted to claim. Entonces, when the guy was registrando, they told them too, "Hey, no sean gachos, include Mario, he's you guys a singer." And them too, they said, no, don't tell Mario anything. We'll reclamamos our claim, the 25 and 25, and we'll leave Ramon 50. They didn't tell me anything. Entonces, el muchacho, he works with mi compadre Ramon still, se llama Jay Hernandez. He's from California, from San Jose. My wife and I were in San Antonio, and I called him. "Hey, brother," "where are you at?" He said, I'm in Austin visiting my tia. I said, "You flew from California?" He said, "Yeah." "Are you going to the valley?" He said, "Yeah, but ¿en qué te vas a ir?" "No, on a Greyhound bus or something." "No," I'm in San Antonio. "I'll go pick you up, and you can go with us where we're going home." "You will do that?" "Yeah, just send me your address." And so I drove an hour by Austin. I picked him up, and on the way home, I could notice that he was trying to tell me something. He was trying to tell me that he would stop. He would cambiar de plática all the way over here. Ya casi para llegar, me la aventó what was going on about the royalties about Fidencio, José Luis, and all that. Entonces I told him, no, dijo, yo te puedo registrar. Le dije, no, I don't want to be fighting with mi compadre Ramon. Conmigo no cuentes eso. No, que mira que you're entitled to it, man. He's like, no, it's okay, forget it. Y luego el güero, José Luis, para descansar, and compadre Fidencio, they would insist for like 3, 4, 5 years. They would tell, "No, Mario, tú también. Si no te registras tú, they're not going to pay us either." And I was like, oh my God, I mean, I don't want to be fighting. Singer. Yeah, y yo era el que estaba cantando ahí. And I didn't want to, hasta que me dijo, I wasn't sure if this was like for reals or it was legit or whatever. So me pasaron a la americana allá en Washington, D.C., me explicó todo ella. Because I don't want to be fighting with mi compadre y luego que me digan, no, you're not entitled to anything. So ya me dijo todo, le dije, okay, está bueno, le dije, register me. How much you want to claim? No, pues the same as the Fidencio José Luis, 25%. Okay, está bueno. Entonces, they did everything. They sent compadre Ramon the letter to sign it so everyone else could get paid. When he was signing it, Palomino, the guy from California, told him, "Don Ramon, nomás que you're going to have to return money that you kept that belongs to the muchachos." He said, no. He said, yo ya cobré lo mío. This is mine. I'm going to sign so they can pay them from today on. And he said, no, that doesn't work that way.
No.
So he didn't sign it. No lo quiso firmar. Así se quedó. What they did over there in Washington, they froze the account. Se lo congelaron. And it was like that for I don't know how many years.
Ending litigation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Entonces, I would always try to talk to him. I in California, the tour everywhere we're at. When we'd get home, I would call him, compadre.
Was it pretty uncomfortable when you were touring?
Yeah, it was, compadre. Yeah, it was really awkward all the time.
Yeah.
And I would, I mean, yo lo respeto mucho y lo aprecio bastante. I mean, lo quiero
But
chingo.
the trust was out the window.
It was not good anymore. Everyone was, we were in the camerino and no one was talking to each other. It was terrible. And I would always call him, compadre, I want to go to your house. We can talk about this. Maybe we can fix this. No tengo tiempo. He never wanted to do anything. Oye, cuando empezó lo del pandemic, everyone was not working. My brother and I nos juntamos. Remember they were doing the Facebook Live?
They were trying to make tips off the Facebook and, you know.
Para que la gente viera a little concert. Que no one was going out to concerts.
Trying to entertain the people that were shelter in place. Yeah.
So my brother and I nos juntamos in the backyard and we did a little tocando ahí like an hour and a half, and we had like 2 million views, compadre. It was like awesome on Facebook. You know, it was awesome. And I guess compadre Ramon saw that. Entonces, de repente, to my house, venía un señor that would knock on my door, and I would see him on my cameras. I didn't know who he was. I never opened the door to anyone I don't know. Yeah? And, you know, the next day, like 2 or 3 times, hasta que miré que he left a little card at the door there. So, ya se fue, and I went and got it, and it was a lawyer's office. So I called that number, y contestó ese señor. Le dije, oye, ¿qué es esto? I asked him, no, es que te están demandando. He said, you're being sued. I'm being sued, le dije. Yeah, I was thinking, well, who in the heck is going to sue me for what? Le dije, who's suing me? Le dije, ¿quién es? He said, Ramon Ayala. Mi compadre, le dije. Yeah, le dijo, you're being sued by Ramon Ayala. He said, oh, shit, really? Entonces, he said, I have the letter right here. Well, come back, le dije, bring it. Can you bring it? Dijo, yeah, dijo. He kept telling us, compadre, when he gave me the letter that I opened it up, when I started to read it, compadre, just because I wanted to cry, man. It was the worst feeling in my life when I was reading that letter. He was telling me que yo no era nada, que no era nadie, que yo nunca tuve contrato con él, que no tenía derecho de nada, que yo andaba en pañales cuando él y Cornelio ya eran famosos, que yo andaba en pañales. Compadre, I felt like I don't know. I felt the worst feeling in my entire life. Terrible. I was like, Jesus Christ, why is he doing this?
Right through your back.
Terrible. Entonces I called him to his house and I went over there and compadre, what is this? Why are you telling me these things like this? No, que es que me están atacando todos, Fidencio y José Luis. Compadre, que es que lo que hiciste no está bien, compadre, por eso está pasando esto. Entonces, but I didn't have a lawyer yet. He had just given me that letter. Entonces, Eloy Leija from Free Records, I was in when they asked me to do that to register. They would ask me the songs that I had recorded. No las sabía, and I was in California one time, and I called him, compadre, how are you doing, Babaga? Entonces he said, I told him about what was going on, and he said, compadre, I have everything in my laptop. Digo, I used to work for FREEBIE. I have all of Ramon's recordings. Digo, I'll get them all together for you. So he comes over to my house. Me saca todo ahí, we're there 2-3 hours sacando todo, and then y luego me dice, compadre, how come you don't get a lawyer? What's going on? Le dije, no. Le dije, here in El Valle, imagínate, everyone knows me, compadre Ramon, all the judges say, I don't want to do that. No, dijo, there's a really good one, dijo, in Houston, dijo, I think he can help you out. Entonces, he called, want me to call him? Le dije, háblale. So he calls him and I talk to him. Y me dice, can you be here tomorrow at 9 in the morning? Le dije, yeah. So we drive over there, him and I. Compadre Eloy and me. Ya le explicamos todo, and he said, you know what, dijo, es que you're entitled to it, dijo. You're entitled to this, papá. They started
It's only fair.
It's only fair. Yeah. And I've always told him, I don't want 1 cent from his pocket. Only what Sound and Change says, you're entitled to this. That's all I want. You know, if I'm entitled to it, que bueno. Because, I mean, you're a featured artist. My voice is in hundreds of tracks in my instrument. Entonces, I put a lot of time into it. And compadre, when we would record, I don't know how much Freddie Records would pay him an album, but he would give us $1,000. You know, and he would say,
the money was in the gigs for you guys.
Yeah, and he would say que we weren't entitled to nothing because he would pay us all of our performances. Entonces, Sound and Change told him that's irrelevant. Esa parte. That nada que ver with this. That's work. Yeah. Entonces, and they showed me an example of the Dave Matthews Band. The same thing happened to them. Yeah. Entonces, I mean, it's there. It's there. And I
noticed right now when you were talking about the letter, your eyes got a little watery, and it feels painful.
Yeah, it's still painful. But I feel we had a mediation a couple of months ago.
And you sat him across from Ramon.
He was sitting like the way you are right here in front of me, and I was over here, and the lawyer's over here. And the first question was, if Ramon would ask me to go back to work with him, would I do it? And you know how his lawyer asked, David would ask me, and I answered straight to compadre Ramon. Le dije, compadre, le dije, yo no regresara contigo. Le dije, te quiero mucho, le dije, pero estoy muy sentido contigo. Le dije, yo jamás volviera contigo. Because, I mean, you don't do that. You don't treat someone like that. You don't tell them. After so many, I remember telling him, compadre, no andaba en pañales, yo, when we were touring, recording, every time we would get a chance, recording, grabing in the studio till 3, 4 in the morning, touring without coming home for 2 months. He had, no andaba en pañales, compadre, for you to, and then he told me, no, I didn't say that. Well, someone did, because it's right here in the letter. And then his lawyer said, no. He said, I said that. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You don't even know me.
So it's taking an emotional toll on you.
Yeah.
Man.
It felt terrible, but you know what?
Have you been able to, and what's the status to it right now? Are you still having to go through litigation?
It's still pending, compadre. Lo que pasa es que they keep on giving us dates aquí in Edinburgh at the court. Pero since the pandemic, there's a lot of cases that are more priority, the criminal cases, than ours. Yeah. So they give us a date, luego nos manda a decir, you know what, it's gonna 2 months para adelante. So, and I always thought it was maybe mi compadre that he didn't want to show up, that he would change and my lawyer told me, no, it's not. It's what's going on.
What's
with
the next date? Have you been given one?
Parece que they told us ahora in April.
In April?
April or May, I'm not sure. I think it's in April. And I mean, yo digo que sea lo que Dios quiera, really. Que sea lo que Dios quiera, ya está en manos de Dios. My lawyer, he's kind of like, es un perro, you know. Yeah. And he would tell me a lot of things like, no, Ramon's going down. I go, no, you can't treat him like that. I go,
is it costing you quite a bit to be, with your lawyer and all that?
No. Because I remember he asked me, do you want to pagarme a retainer, money up front or whatever? Like, I don't have any money to give you $20,000, $30,000 or whatever. Yeah. And so he's getting a percentage. Okay. Entonces, like, whatever.
He's got to win.
Yeah.
He's got to win.
And lo que pasa es que we did the depositions, compadre, through Zoom when the pandemic. Yeah. Entonces, when they did his, I was able to see it. And por esto, they would ask him all kinds of stuff, and he would evade the questions. He would answer with other stuff, and trying to
spin it.
All kinds of stuff. And when his lawyer saw me, since like 9 in till like 10 at night, and he didn't want to let me go, and he was asking me all kinds of, and I was answering the direct thing without any, because I would tell David, my lawyer, I would tell him, I don't have anything to hide. I don't have to be lying for anything. And we go, Paramon, he had a lot to try to cover up, because he did all kinds of shady things. Yeah. I'm not the one that did wrong here, so I don't have anything to hide. Because you're answering everything really, really quick and really good. Me decía él, because I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong to him or anyone. Entonces they asked him, how come you're willing to pay your brothers, Jose Luis and Fidencio, you're willing to pay them the royalties, but not Mr. Marichalar? Why?
So he paid them the royalties from the past?
He had an agreement with them.
Okay.
Fuera de,
so for them, it wasn't from here on in. It was like, we're going to have to...
He helped them out in other ways or something where they're off the claim. Mm-hmm. But they asked him, you're okay with Fidencio Jose getting paid, but not Mr. Marichalar? Why is that? Because he's not my brother. That was his answer. Because he's not my brother. And do you think that's right?
Do you think that you telling him what you told him in jail over there in Mexico had something to do with him kind of feeling it as a retribution for that? When you told him, aquí no mandas tú, you were
probably. You know what? Or maybe not, because at that time, we were all like not thinking straight. We were all worried. And I don't think that really affected him a lot. But I remember just telling him when he said, oh, nos vamos todos o nos quedamos todos. And I told him, sí, compadre, pero tú aquí no mandas. Yeah. So I don't think he really paid too much attention to that. Because after that, everything was cool. We were working and everything till that happened, Yeah,
but that's interesting, that it might be that moment in life.
Yeah, it could have been that
moment that.
But that doesn't change the fact that you're in a band doing what you do for all those years.
Business is business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Entonces, and if they say you're entitled to that, well, you're entitled to it. Entonces, he like we say in español, no tiene vuelta de hoja. Lo que es. So, I mean, what can he say for the jury or the judge to say, you know what, Mario, you're wrong here. You're not entitled to anything. I mean, it's all there. Mm-hmm. Now, what I've seen, all those years, the band, everyone on the posters, on the East Coast, everything. Now he puts like 4 or 5 or 6 pictures of himself on the things
artist almost,
to try to make it seem like it's just him.
Yeah.
But I mean, that you can't erase the past. Yeah. All that history. Yeah. You can't. It's all over the place. He can't say it was just him. just because he's putting up 5 or 6 pictures of himself. It's all there, ¿me entiendes? Pero, I mean, sea lo que sea. Y luego, today they asked me if that I knew that mi compadre is doing a tour de despedida. You know,
a farewell tour.
A farewell tour, because
I saw videos of his toy drive, and I mean, they're helping him walk and get on stage. So he's
lo que pasa es que his age, compadre, and then he's been a little malito with el azúcar and all that stuff, and they were asking me this morning about his tour, ¿verdad? Que de despedida, que wouldn't have been nice if Eliseo Robles and me, or Eliseo or me, would tour with him for that final tour. And I told them it would be cool. It would be cool because I'm pretty sure the fans would appreciate it. They would
be open to that?
And they asked me about that, because if I would, like, mira, if mi compadre Ramon, I mean, he owns his band. It's up to him. If he was to call me and ask me, compadre, are you willing to do this with us? I'd be okay with it. Mm-hmm. I would be okay with it to do it, compadre.
Even while litigation is pending and all that.
That would be very difficult. Mm-hmm. To me, it's kind of hard, because you're kind of like fighting in order to be together on a stage or on a bus or lo que sea. Mm-hmm. And another thing I know, que the way his family or his manager or even him, it would have to be something good, a manera de que vaya mucha gente, you're talking about a lot of money, something justo que nos pagara, and I don't think they would be open to that. They're going to want to give them $1,000 or give them $2,000, stuff like that, because I know them. Como quiera, if he would, I wouldn't say no. Mm-hmm. Even though I have my band and we're trying to as much as we can to do something with my band, I would do it anyway, because I think
you would consider it.
I would consider it because it's something good for his despedida, you know. The fans deserve it.
Because I think fans of Ramon Ayala are as much fans of yours as well, you know, because you had a lot of great hits
because of so many years.
Yeah.
And mi compadre Ángel, the one that's singing with him right now, he sings good. He's doing good. I heard a corrido that they recorded, se llama El Retén, and I hadn't heard it. Lo oí el otro día, and I like it. He sings good. And before, ya casi no me habla o no le hablo, pero last time I spoke to him, I told him, compadre, just sing a little bit more smooth than the way you're singing. And he's doing really good.
Bueno.
Ojalá que eso les ayude for their tour, para el público. Pero, I mean, si se puede, ¿qué todo dar? If si no, pues ni modo. I mean,
well, you've got your own band now, man. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, you're recording, your management was telling me you got about 70 songs in the...
We've been recording a lot, compadre. Lo que pasa es que back in the old days, I don't know what year it was, like in the movies, they were black and white. There was a movie with Gregory Peck and Joan Collins, se llamaba The Bravados, an old black and white movie. I don't know if you remember. The Bravados. When I saw that growing up, I remember seeing it and I said, that looks good for un grupo norteño, Los Bravados del Norte. So I always kept it in mind. And when I left mi compadre Ramon's band, I was just, quería ir a tocar just with my name, Mario Marichalar, just like that. Like when you say Lalo Mora or something like that, ¿no? Entonces, my manager, el papá de Albert Ramírez de los de Macizo, from San Antonio, he would tell me, compadre...
De Pearsall. So
de Pearsall, exactly. Yo digo San Antonio. They would tell me, his dad would tell me, Cuyo, he would tell me, Mario, es que the promotores from Chicago, they're asking, ¿cómo se llama el grupo? The name of your band. Le digo, pues no tengo nombre. El grupo, pues get one. Entonces me acordé de Bravados. So I started working on that. I called David para registrarlo. And they check it with like 3 different companies, and I was able to registrarlo a mi nombre, no más que le pusimos Los Bravados del Norte. And I remember I put it on Facebook asking the fans, if you guys like it, si usted les gusta, I'll use it. If you guys tell me que no está bueno, no les gusta, I won't use it. Almost 100%. Había uno que otro que decía, no, se parece mucho a Los Bravos and whatever.
Yeah.
But almost 100% everyone, úsalo, it sounds good, and you deserve it because you were with the Bravos for a long time. And
I thought it fit well as well.
And muchos me decían, what does it mean? What does Bravos mean? I would tell them what it means. It means you're a man that's with courage, courageous, a man, un bravo, a guy that's brave. Entonces, one guy, I told him, but there's Google, just Google it. Playing around.
That's all you got to do nowadays.
Entonces, I started using it. Entonces, when the mediation, compadre, that was the other thing that he told me. He said that he wanted me to not use that name anymore. And I told him, compadre, ¿por qué? Es que you're confusing people. He told me, compadre, I'm not using Bravos. Dije, this is Bravados. He said, no, es que la gente se está confundiendo. And I kind of got a little bit upset, and I told him, compadre, you don't know the alphabets. Dije, en español, tú no eres dueño del abecedario. I told him, you know, I'm not using Bravos, no es Bravos, es Bravados. And he said, pero estás confundiendo a la gente. He felt threatened. And I guess he didn't think that I was going to get a name that was catchy, because I could have put it Los Tacuaches del Norte or something. I don't know.
No, I think that fits perfectly, man.
I kind of like
Mario
it.
Marichalar y Los Bravados del Norte.
Pero fíjate, we were using like that, Mario Marichalar y Los Bravados del Norte, pero our last name is really difficult to pronounce. Entonces, we barely started a couple 2 weeks ago. We're putting primero Los Bravados del Norte y luego abajo chiquito. And I told me, compadre Tony, don't even put my name, just put Los Bravados del Norte. He said, no. So abajo puso Mario Marichalar.
Yeah.
Pero le digo, es más fácil que el público se aprenda Bravados que Marichalar.
How is the digital royalty thing going on with your band? Do you have something going on with your band members?
Yeah, I don't want to happen to me with my band, with my compañeros, what happened to Compadre Ramon and his band. So desde que we started doing everything, I told me, Compadre Tony, you know what, let's get all of the músicos that are recording with me. Everyone is registered, their names and everything, para cuando we start getting dinero that comes in from whatever, everyone gets their check. Cada quien. I don't want to leave anyone out. If someone went and recorded Las Tumbas and 2-3 songs, have them there. Porque yo no quiero, I don't want to be...
No quiero andar gastando dinero con abogados later on.
No, es que no quiero ser malo. You know, I don't want to be like, feel like they're not important, like leaving them out. That's terrible. Because you're doing something big, something good for yourself. ¿Me entiendes?
And you got to have every T crossed and every I dotted, you know?
Because nowadays...
Fair and square.
Yeah, y quieres que anden a gusto. Quieres que anden todos a gustos. Going back to when the lawyers, I just remembered about que nunca le firmé un contrato. When we were at the ranch, he asked me, compadre, ¿quieres un contrato? Le dije, no, ¿y para qué? Le dije, nos dimos la mano. Le dije, yo trabajo contigo hasta que tú quieras. Si mañana pasado no te sirvo, tú me dices que me vaya, yo me voy. Entonces, my lawyer asked me, have you ever signed a contract with Ramon? Le dije, no. Are you sure? Le dije, yeah. Le dije, sometimes one of the guys that works there for him, he would come over and tell me, Mario, sign this paper. What is it for? You just sign it. He said, no, I need to know what it's for. Yeah. And I got to read it. Entonces, a couple of things I remember, something about YouTube or cosas así, small things, whatever. Entonces, are you sure? Le dije, no, I've never signed a contract with him. Okay, dijo, está bueno, dijo. Good, dijo. Because there's a law, he said, that he used you. He's not entitled to use your persona, your talent, or whatever for his enrichment.
You didn't sign it over?
Because you never signed anything. I told him, no, I never signed it. Because I told him that I don't think we need to leave. If he doesn't want me anymore, I'll leave. And he said, okay, because there's a law that backs you up. He said that he didn't have any rights to your this and your that. And I didn't know that. And I always thought, okay, I'm screwed because I never had a contract. Pero there's laws that...
Yeah. Pues Mario, te quiero felicitar y
gracias, compadre.
Debes de escribir un libro, carnal.
I've been thinking about that. Nomás que if I would do that, compadre, I would not leave anything out. And there's a lot of things that
that's what's going to sell the book.
There's a lot of things that people, you know.
Interesting. You have an amazing story to tell, man.
There's a
From
lot of
Yakima,
things.
Washington to Nuevo León to the Rio Grande Valley to the jail cells of Mexico City.
There's things
incredible.
There's things that I can't say on the microphone, because the lawyers won't let me. But there's a lot of things that are really bad on his part, and I have them. I have a proof, and I have all kinds of stuff that it can incriminate him really bad. And
well, I think at the end of the day, what's fair is fair, and I think God's always gonna create an atmosphere where everybody needs to get what they need to get, and you know, and I wish you the best, man. And your band, Los Bravados, ahorita tienen música streaming online. Tienes música that's coming out, 70 rolas que tienes en el cajón, y pum videos.
They tell me, los fans nos dicen, hombre, ya no grabes canciones que cantamos con Ramón, pero muchos nos pidieron, grábate canciones que te conocemos. Que te conocemos. Es lo que pasaba que people no saben my name, pero they recognize the voice after so many years. Entonces, now, I would get this a lot. Nos bajamos on stage and people would come up to me. I remember acá en Uvalde, in San Angelo, and this lady came out and she said, hey, ya no estás cantando como Ramón Ayala. And I said, señora, le dije, no estoy cantando como Ramón, yo canto como yo canto. Es que anduve ahí muchos años. No, usted lo quiere arremedar. Le dije, ok, está bueno.
Mario, Dios te bendiga.
Gracias,
y buena
compadre.
suerte en tu carrera.
Gracias
y aquí
por invitarme.
Estamos con
Gracias.
las puertas abiertas.
Thank you,
Cuando
compadre.
necesitas algo, aquí estamos.
Thank you so much.
Y let us know when your music, and follow him on social media, ladies and gentlemen, so you can find out what's going on with Mario Marichalar y Los Bravados, where they're playing, how you can, book them for your private event or for your concert festival. This guy's the real deal, man. He's been around
when
for a
we're
while.
out there, you guys come out and say hi. We won't bite hard.
Mario Marichalar, it's Rock and Roll James, hashtag
Un abrazo para todos.
one-on-one. Thank you so much for joining us.
Un abrazo para todo tu público. Rock.
Asústame one time.
Échale Crisco. Tanta manteca.